Child abuse and neglect is one of Australia's biggest and most misunderstood social problems. One child suffers physical, sexual, emotional abuse or neglect every 11 minutes, often by someone they know and trust.
Well, for 9 days later this month, 27 rather courageous trekkers are going on quite the journey through the jungle in Papua New Guinea as part of the Trek for Kids to raise awareness. Joining us now live is Dr Neil Carrington, CEO of Act for Kids. Good morning to you, Doctor. Tell us a bit more about the trek.
Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Danica. Yeah, the trek is a 96-kilometre journey through the New Guinea jungles, replicating what our brave soldiers did in Kokoda. And it's all about raising awareness about child abuse and neglect. Act for Kids is an Australian charity that's been working tirelessly for over 30 years around this issue.
And Doctor, can you tell us how widespread is child abuse and neglect in Australia?
Yeah, well, I heard in the lead in there, Danica, you talked about a child abused every 11 minutes, and that's just an outrageous statistic. And the other thing that really frustrates us at Act for Kids is that over 90% of the people that harm kids are already in a position of love and trust. And that's just, again, a shocking statistic. We also know that only about 28% of adults will actually do anything if a child discloses abuse and neglect to them. So that means 72% of people do nothing at all, which is just, again, not good enough.
Just incredible, those statistics. I mean, as a parent of young children, it just makes your skin crawl that is happening in the world. It does add a little bit of extra to it that you point to, that it's within that caring family setup or friendship base that these things can occur. What would you say to people like me with young kids? You know, you don't want to be ever vigilant and wrap them up in cotton wool, but certainly have to be mindful.
Well, look, I'm very proud to say walking with me on the trek will be Daniel Malcolm's two brothers, his twin brother and his older brother, Brad and Dean. And, you know, what Bruce and Denise Malcolm went through, thankfully, you know, while it's horrific, it's actually much rarer than people think. And that's why I raised that statistic that are people that are known to you. And I think it's important that we listen to our kids. Kids have got an incredibly good antenna. We've worked with over 30,000 kids in our Be Safe program, which is about teaching little ones what to do if they feel unsafe and how to report that. And one of the mantras that we use with our kids is tell and tell again, and please listen to your little ones. Everything that we do at Act for Kids is free of charge. We don't have any religious affiliations, so we've got to raise a lot of funds because there's a lot of work to do out there. I mean, we just opened a centre in Broadmeadows, and already we've got a huge wait list of kids there. We've got another one out here in Blacktown in Sydney, where I am today. We've got centres right across Australia, right up into Cape York. So sadly, there's a lot of work to do in this space. But the message is, I would say, is listen to your children and also make sure that you're vigilant.
Some great advice there, Doctor. Can you tell us how much have you raised so far and how far will the funds go?
Okay, so we've had a few people drop along the way, like any good trek. Yeah, so we left with around 16 people during the trek, and we've raised well over 200,000. I'm nearly at 100,000 myself. I'm there at 97,000. So if anyone can help us out, just Google Trek for Kids, Act for Kids, Kokoda. You'll find us there, and if you can make a contribution, no bigger. Doesn't matter how big or small, that's going to help a lot of kids. We'd love to be able to raise 300,000. That would enable us to buy more therapy hours. We're proud partners with Bruce and Denise Malcolm and their foundation in the Walk Tall program, where we provide free therapy for kids that are victims of pedophiles. And we know there's a lot more work that we still need to do, so every little bit's going to help us. And I'm very glad that the two Malcolm brothers are going with me because they're strapping young men, and I might need a little bit of a lift on the way home.
Look, just on that, Doctor, do you know what you're up for? I've got some friends that have done the trek. I've not been brave enough to do it, but it is one sapping trek.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things that seemed like a good idea at the time, and Tuesday is rapidly approaching, and frankly, I'm very nervous. I was looking at your feature on Winx there. I don't think I'm moving as well as Winx.
Just on that, though, why the Kokoda trek? Why was that so special?
Well, my father and my uncle both served in New Guinea during the war, and like many people in that era, they played down their contribution to the safety of our country. And And this is about keeping kids safe, and it's about, I guess, challenging yourself. You know, we see some horrific stories at Act for Kids, the abuse, and I don't want to upset your listeners, but some of these stories are absolutely harrowing. And I think it's important that we challenge ourselves as well and step up. You know, it takes a village to raise a child, but you know what? It takes a village to abuse a child as well. And that's why we need to speak up and keep our kids safe.
Dr. Neil Carrington, CEO for Act for Kids. Great to catch up with you. Good luck. We do look forward to hearing how it all goes. And, of course, we do encourage everyone to dig deep as well. We really appreciate your time this morning. Enjoy the trek, and we do really appreciate your work as well in this difficult space.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Danica. And hop online, have a look at the amazing work that Act for Kids does every day out there around Australia. 49,000 kids we helped last year, and we want to keep doing that great work. Thank you.
Yeah, good on you, mate. We'll catch up soon. Dr. Neil Carrington is CEO for Act for Kids, and what a great
What
trek.
A terrific initiative, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Look, it's such a difficult, it's a challenging space. You wish you didn't have to have these organisations, but we're so glad that we do.
Yep.
But they can't run on fumes. They need cash. So if you are so inclined, please do, as you heard the doctor say, get online, help them any way you can. They are such a great organisation.
A great cause. All right.